The stars glittered like diamonds scattered across a velvet canvas, a sight that had captivated humanity since the dawn of time. Yet, in the year 2044, one particular constellation became the focus of both hope and dread. The planet Zyxara, orbiting the distant star Osiris, had just signaled its presence to Earth. Dr. Alara Quinn, a renowned astrophysicist, stood in the control room of the International Space Observation Station. Her tousled hair framed a face lined with both excitement and worry. "It's official," she announced, her voice a mix of disbelief and anticipation. "We've received a response from Zyxara. They want to meet." The room buzzed with energy. Humanity had waited for this moment, dreaming of interstellar communication, and now it was happening. However, the excitement was tinged with uncertainty. "Do we even know what they look like?" murmured Dr. Jamal Terk, her colleague, eyeing the holographic projections of the Zyxara system. "They could be hostile." Alara turned to him, her green eyes fierce. "We can't let fear dictate our actions. This is a chance to learn, to grow. If they've reached out, they must have a reason." The world watched as the date for the first contact drew nearer. The meeting would take place on the artificial satellite Eden, a neutral ground orbiting Earth. Preparations were intense, with experts from various fields gathered to decode the alien culture they might encounter. As the day approached, a deep unease crept into Alara's heart. What if the aliens deemed humanity inferior? Their technology might far exceed anything Earth had achieved. On the morning of the meeting, she stood before the observation window of Eden, staring at the blue planet below. "Ready?" Jamal's voice pulled her from her thoughts. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, forcing a smile. Together, they entered the sleek chamber designated for the meeting. As they entered, a figure shimmered into existence before them. The aliens, known as the Zyxar, were ethereal beings with translucent skin that shifted colors like the surface of water under moonlight. Their eyes were deep voids, reflecting a cosmic intelligence. "Welcome, Earthlings," one of them spoke, its voice echoing like a whisper carried by the wind. "We have come to observe your primitive tools of destruction." Alara's heart raced. "Primitive? We have made great strides in technology, communication." "Your understanding of the universe is limited," interrupted the Zyxar, its voice dripping with condescension. "Your arms are crude, outdated. You rely on brute force rather than intellect." Stung by the alien's arrogance, Alara clenched her fists. "We've learned to coexist, to innovate. Our weapons may not be as advanced, but they've shaped our survival." The Zyxar exchanged glances, their eyes swirling with iridescent colors. "Survival is not enough. Your species clings to outdated ideas of power. We do not wish to conquer. We seek enlightenment." Jamal stepped forward. "Enlightenment requires mutual respect. We may not be as advanced, but we have our strengths. Perhaps we could share knowledge." The Zyxar laughed at a sound that was both melodic and mocking. "You are amusing, human, but you lack the capacity for true understanding." The atmosphere grew tense, and Alara felt the weight of their judgment. "What do you want from us?" she asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "To witness your response," the Zyxar replied, their tones now serious. "We wish to see the evolution of your species." With that, they gestured, and a series of holographic images flickered to life, displaying the grandeur of their civilization cities built from light, ships that glided effortlessly through space. The images showcased their history, devoid of war or conflict, a society that had embraced harmony. Alara's mind raced. "Is that all? Just to observe?" "Observe and learn," came the reply. "But do not mistake our observation for admiration. Your species has the potential for greatness, yet you cling to conflict." The tension crackled in the air. Alara's resolve hardened. "We have endured and evolved through conflict. It has taught us resilience." At that moment, a distant alarm rang through Eden, a shrill sound that pierced the conversation. The Zyxar's demeanor shifted. "We must leave. The integrity of our vessel is compromised." "What do you mean?" Jamal asked, panic rising in his voice. "Your primitive arms pose a threat," the Zykar replied, their colors darkening. "Our technology is vulnerable. We cannot remain exposed." Before Alara could respond, the aliens began to shimmer, preparing to disappear. But something in her heart screamed to act. "Wait, you don't understand. With a sudden impulse, she reached for the small, experimental weapon. They had brought a prototype designed to disrupt electronic signals, to protect against any potential threats. In a moment of desperation, she fired a shot into the air. The beam struck the Zykar's shimmering form, and a shockwave pulsed through the chamber. The aliens froze, their iridescence flickering violently. For a heartbeat, the room was silent. Then chaos erupted. The Zykar dispersed into fractals of light, retreating into the corners of the room as alarms blared. "You have threatened us," one cried, its voice a blend of fear and anger. "You are fools." Alara's heart sank. No, it was meant as a demonstration, not a threat. But the Zykar were already fading, their forms dissolving into the air. "We will not forget this," they warned, their final words echoing ominously. "You may think your arms are primitive, but the potential for destruction lies not in the weapons themselves, but in the minds that wield them." As the last of their shimmering forms vanished, Alara stood frozen, the weapon still in her hand. The chamber felt hollow, the weight of her decision heavy on her shoulders. The fallout was immediate. News of the encounter spread like wildfire, drawing fierce debate. Some praised Alara for defending humanity, while others condemned her for instigating a rift with an advanced civilization. Weeks turned into months as the world braced for the Zykar's return. Alara worked tirelessly to find answers, her days filled with sleepless nights and frantic research. What did the Zykar mean by their warning? Could they truly pose a threat, or were they simply playing a game far beyond human understanding? Then, a signal arrived, a message from Zyxara, a request for another meeting. The world held its breath as Alara and Jamal prepared to confront the Zykar once again. When the day finally arrived, the atmosphere in Eden was electric. The Zykar appeared, their forms once again shimmering into existence. But this time, their colors were muted, darker. "Earthlings," the lead Zykar began, its voice heavy with a mix of frustration and curiosity. "You have ignited a fire we did not anticipate. We seek to understand why you wield such primitive arms." Alara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their judgment. "We do not use weapons lightly. We are afraid of the unknown. Your technology terrifies us, and our history is steeped in conflict. We've learned to survive, but we want to learn to coexist." The Zykar shifted, their colors flickering in contemplation. "Your fear is your greatest enemy. It clouds your judgment, warps your perception. We did not wish to conquer, we sought to guide." Jamal stepped forward, his voice steady. "Then let us explore this together. Help us to see the universe through your eyes. We've been shackled by our past." The Zykar considered his words, their forms swirling in a dance of color and light. "Very well, but know this. The path to enlightenment is fraught with danger. You must prove your resolve." "How?" Alara asked, her heart racing with anticipation and dread. "By confronting the darkness within yourselves. Your greatest threat is not us, but the war that brews within your species. We will return, and we will observe how you navigate your conflicts. Only then will we decide if you are worthy of our knowledge." With that, the Zykar shimmered and faded once more, leaving Alara and Jamal alone in the chamber, the weight of their words lingering in the air. The world outside was chaotic, debates raging about the implications of the Zykar's warning. Alara realized that the true battle lay ahead, not against the Zykar, but within humanity itself. Months passed, and Alara dedicated herself to fostering dialogue among nations, urging leaders to set aside their differences. It was a monumental task, one fraught with setbacks and failures, but as she worked, a glimmer of hope began to shine. One evening, while watching the sunset from Eden, Alara felt a sense of peace wash over her. Maybe the Zykar were right. The path to enlightenment began with understanding oneself. Then, without warning, a brilliant flash lit the sky. A fleet of Zykar ships appeared, their sleek forms hovering over Earth, casting shadows over cities. Panic spread, but Alara stood firm. She knew that this was not an invasion, it was a test. As she stepped forward to address the world, she felt a surge of confidence. "We have faced our darkness," she announced, her voice clear and unwavering. "We seek not to conquer, but to learn. Together, we can find a path forward." Hovered silently, their presence an ominous yet majestic sight against the backdrop of the evening sky. The world held its breath, waiting for the Zykar's next move. Alara stood on the platform of Eden, a beacon of hope amid the uncertainty. As the light ships descended, she felt the weight of history pressing on her shoulders. This was more than just a moment for her. It was a pivotal point for all humanity. Around her, leaders from every corner of the globe watched with a mixture of fear and awe. The lead ship, shimmering in hues of blue and silver, lowered its docking bay. A beam of light lit the entrance, and the Zykar emerged, their forms resplendent, yet their colors subdued a reflection of the tension in the air. "Earthlings," the lead Zykar intoned, its voice resonating through the silence. "We have returned to witness your evolution. Will you demonstrate your capacity for understanding?" Alara took a deep breath. "We have recognized the dangers that lie within us. We have begun to confront our fears, our divisions, but we need your guidance. Show us the path to coexistence." The Zykar regarded her, their forms swirling with colors that suggested contemplation. "To guide you, we must first test your resolve. Our knowledge cannot be bestowed lightly. It must be earned through mutual understanding and sacrifice." The crowd around Alara shifted, whispering anxiously. Jamal stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "What kind of test?" he asked, his voice steady. "You must face the conflict that simmers in your world," the Zykar replied. "It is not enough to speak of peace, you must embody it. We will create scenarios that challenge your ability to cooperate, to trust one another. Only through this will you unlock the path to enlightenment." Alara felt a spark of determination igniting within her. "We accept your challenge. We are ready to confront our divisions." The Zykar shifted, their forms glowing brighter as they prepared to create a simulation. "We will project a reality that embodies your deepest conflicts. You will experience the consequences of your choices in real time." As the words faded, the air around them shimmered, transforming into a vast arena. Alara found herself standing on a battlefield, a grim reflection of humanity's historical conflicts. Two armies faced each other, poised for combat. The sounds of clashing swords and roaring engines filled the air, and the smell of smoke permeated the atmosphere. "This is a manifestation of your fears," the Zykar's voice echoed. "Your choice is clear. Will you engage in this cycle of violence, or will you find a way to unite?" The soldiers on both sides were mere projections, yet they felt strikingly real. Alara could feel the tension in the air, the palpable fear and anger. She turned to Jamal. "We have to find a way to stop this," she said, her heart racing. Together, they moved toward the center of the battlefield, where a colossal structure loomed, a representation of power and division. The sounds of conflict grew louder, drowning out reason. "Think," Jamal shouted over the noise. "What if we send a message to both sides, a call for peace?" Alara nodded, urgency coursing through her veins. She concentrated, channeling her thoughts into the air. "Listen," she cried out, projecting her voice into the simulation. "We do not need to fight, we can choose to come together." For a moment, the soldiers faltered, their weapons lowered, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. But just as quickly, anger surged, and the clash resumed. Alara felt her heart sink. "No," she shouted. "This isn't the way. We can find common ground." As she spoke, a bright light erupted from her hands, casting a shimmering glow across the battlefield. The Zykar's projection shifted, the colors swirling in response to her plea. "This is your moment, humans," the Zykar urged. "Embrace the possibility of unity." Alara turned to the soldiers, desperation in her voice. "You are all human. This fight is not worth the loss. You have families, dreams." And then, an unexpected shift occurred. The soldiers began to lower their weapons, looking at one another with newfound clarity. The projection rippled, showing glimpses of their lives outside of the battlefield. Children waiting at home, lovers holding hands, families sharing meals. "Together, we are stronger," Jamal called out, stepping forward. "We can overcome our fears. Let us join forces instead of tearing each other apart." As their words echoed across the battlefield, the soldiers began to merge, the two sides blending into one collective force. Ilara felt a rush of triumph. This was the turning point, the moment of clarity. But suddenly, the arena shifted violently, dark clouds gathering above, swirling with shadows. The Zykar's voice grew urgent. "You must maintain your resolve. The darkness is fighting back against your unity." The clouds crackled with energy, and shadows of conflict loomed overhead, threatening to tear apart the fragile bonds they had formed. Ilara felt fear creeping in, but she pushed it aside. "Stay strong," she urged the soldiers. "Remember who you are. You are not enemies. You are a community, bound by the same hopes and dreams." The soldiers, now united, turned their gazes skyward. In unison, they raised their hands, channeling their collective energy into a radiant beam of light that shot upward, piercing through the darkness. With a blinding flash, the shadows dissipated, revealing a bright sky. The battlefield transformed, shifting into a vibrant landscape filled with greenery, laughter, and life. Alara and Jamal stood in awe. "We did it," Jamal exclaimed, a smile spreading across his face. "Yes," Ilara replied, her heart soaring. "But this is just the beginning." The Zykar reappeared, their forms glowing with a kaleidoscope of colors. "You have passed the first test, Earthlings. You have shown that unity can prevail over division. However, this was but a simulation. The real world will present far greater challenges." "What do you want us to do now?" Alara asked, her voice steady. "Continue your journey toward understanding. Your path will be fraught with trials, but do not lose sight of your progress. Embrace your vulnerabilities, confront your darkness, and strive for enlightenment." With that, the Zykar began to fade, their presence still resonating in the air. Ilara felt a surge of hope. They had taken the first step toward a brighter future, one where understanding could bridge the gaps between civilizations. As the reality of Eden settled back into place, Ilara and Jamal stood side by side, feeling the weight of what lay ahead. The world would need to change, but they now possessed a powerful understanding. Change began within. Days turned into weeks as news of their success spread across the globe. Alara became a symbol of hope, advocating for peace and cooperation. Nations began to engage in dialogue, setting aside differences to build a shared future. Yet, Ilara knew that the Zykar's warning lingered in the back of her mind. The journey ahead would not be easy. The shadows of conflict were persistent and could re-emerge at any moment. One evening, while preparing for a global conference on peace, Ilara received an encrypted message from the Zykar. The words glowed on her screen. "Prepare for the next trial. The darkness will return." Ilara's heart raced. She gathered her team, including Jamal, to discuss the implications. "We need to be ready," she said, urgency threading her voice. "The Zykar warned us about the darkness, and it's not just metaphorical. It's our own human nature, our propensity for conflict." "What do you propose?" Jamal asked, concern etched on his face. "We strengthen our alliances, create programs that promote understanding between different cultures, and prepare for when the Zykar return. We must show them that we are committed to change, that we are worthy of their knowledge." As the conference approached, Alara's resolve grew stronger. The world was beginning to shift, and she could feel the momentum building. Leaders from various nations convened, sharing ideas, fostering connections, and striving for a common goal. But amidst the optimism, Alara could sense an undercurrent of fear. People were wary of the Zykar, unsure of their intentions. The shadows of conflict whispered in the back of her mind, reminding her of humanity's troubled past. On the day of the conference, Elara took the stage, her heart pounding in her chest. The room was filled with delegates, journalists, and observers from all walks of life. "Today, we stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice steady. "We have faced challenges, both internal and external, but we must remember that our greatest strength lies in our unity." She shared stories of the simulated battlefield, how the soldiers had found common ground, transforming conflict into cooperation. "We can do the same in the real world. We must work together to ensure that when the Zykar return, we present a united front." As she spoke, the atmosphere shifted. Delegates nodded, inspired by her words. The spirit of cooperation began to blossom. But deep down, Elara knew that the real test loomed just beyond the horizon. A week later, the Zykar returned, their ships gliding silently into Earth's atmosphere. The world watched with bated breath as they docked once more at Eden. Elara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. This was the moment of truth. Deep resonance that filled the chamber. "We have returned to assess your progress and witness how you have responded to the trials of unity and conflict." Elara stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice resolute. "We have worked tirelessly to foster understanding among our nations. We've shared stories, built bridges, and created programs aimed at reducing conflict. We are ready for this next challenge." The Zykar observed her, their iridescent forms swirling in response. "Your resolve is commendable, yet our presence here signals that the darkness you face is not merely an external force, but resides within your very nature. It thrives on fear, division, and misunderstanding. Today, we will expose these shadows." With a wave of their hands, the Zykar conjured a projection in the air, revealing scenes from around the globe. Images of conflict and division flickered before them. Protests, wars, political strife, and the pain of people caught in the crossfire. Elara felt her stomach churn as she watched the turmoil. "This is not who we want to be," she said, her voice breaking. "We are striving for peace. We are working to change our narratives." The Zykar's colors dimmed. "Your intentions are noted, but the reality remains that fear and division persist. To advance, you must confront the darkness that festers within your society. This trial will test not only your unity, but your ability to recognize and confront the roots of your conflicts." "What does this trial entail?" Jamal asked, stepping forward beside Elara. "You will be thrust into a scenario where these divisions are magnified. You will experience firsthand the consequences of inaction against the darkness. Only through collective courage and understanding can you hope to emerge victorious." The air shimmered again, and suddenly Elara and the gathered leaders found themselves transported to a different realm, a vast, desolate landscape marked by destruction. The sky was dark and heavy, filled with storm clouds swirling with electric energy. The ground was littered with remnants of civilization, shattered buildings, abandoned homes, and echoes of despair. "This is a reflection of what your world could become if you allow conflict to fester," the Zykar said, their voice echoing ominously through the barren landscape. "Here, you will face your fears, and you must work together to bring light to the darkness." As the leaders looked around in disbelief, Elara felt a weight on her heart. "We can change this. We must find a way to restore hope." "Hope alone is not enough," the Zykar warned. "You must actively choose to confront the divisions that threaten your world." In the distance, figures began to emerge, projections of people, representing various factions and communities, all filled with fear, anger, and distrust. Their voices rose in a cacophony of accusations and blame, echoing through the landscape. "They are reflections of your own divisions," the Zykar explained. "You must engage with them, understand their pain, and find common ground. Only then can you restore balance." Elara stepped forward, her heart racing. "We need to listen," she urged, her voice carrying above the turmoil. "We cannot ignore their suffering. If we want to build a future together, we must acknowledge the past." With a gesture, she called forth a figure, a projection of a woman with tear-streaked cheeks, clutching a photo of her family. "What happened to you?" Elara asked gently. The woman's voice trembled with emotion. "I lost everything. My home, my loved ones destroyed by the very divisions you ignore. You think your words matter, but they are empty without action." Elara's heart ached. "You're right. We need to do more than talk. We need to take steps to rebuild, to heal. But we can only do that together." As she spoke, Jamal joined her. "We are all human. We share the same fears, the same hopes. Let us find ways to support each other. We can build community programs, work to provide aid, and promote dialogue among our differences." The landscape shifted slightly, and the woman's projection softened, her anger replaced with a flicker of hope. "You really mean that?" "Yes," Elara affirmed, her voice strong. "We need to face these challenges as one people, with one vision for a better world." The other figures began to emerge, each embodying different facets of conflict: a soldier clutching a weapon, a politician spouting rhetoric, a child crying for peace. Elara and Jamal approached each projection, engaging them in conversation. The soldier expressed his fears of losing his identity in a changing world. The politician echoed the struggle for power, driven by the need to protect their own. The child represented innocence caught in the crossfire of adult conflicts. Each encounter was a reflection of the challenges humanity faced daily. "Listen to their fears," the Zycar instructed, their voice a steady reminder of the importance of understanding. Empathy is the key to dismantling division. As Elara and Jamal navigated through the projections, they began to notice a pattern. The roots of conflict were often fear-based, fueled by a lack of understanding and compassion. They encouraged the projections to share their stories, to voice their pain and dreams. The child spoke of wanting a world without war, while the soldier shared his fear of being seen as a monster. The politician revealed their struggle with the weight of expectations, trapped in a cycle of power plays. Slowly, the figures began to respond to Elara's empathy. One by one, the projections began to soften, their anger and despair giving way to understanding. The dark clouds overhead began to dissipate, revealing rays of light breaking through the gloom. "We can work together," the soldier said, tears in his eyes. "I want to protect my home, but I also want to see my children thrive." "I long for peace," the politician admitted, their voice heavy with regret. "But I've been caught in a system that rewards division." Elara nodded. "Change begins with us. We can advocate for new systems that prioritize unity and understanding over conflict." With each interaction, the desolate landscape transformed. Flowers began to bloom where there had been rubble, and the sky lightened, filled with shades of blue and gold. The warmth of hope spread through the arena, and Elara felt a sense of accomplishment. But just as the light seemed to take hold, the shadows returned, darker and more ominous than before. A figure emerged from the darkness manifestation of all their collective fears. It loomed over them, a swirling mass of anger and pain. "You think you can change what has been? Your history is stained with conflict. You are weak, and you will fail," it roared, its voice echoing like thunder. Elara's heart raced. "No, we can confront this darkness. We can choose to rewrite our story." The figures around her began to tremble, fear rising in their eyes. "What if we fail?" the child whimpered. "We mustn't give in to despair," Jamal shouted, stepping forward. "We have faced our divisions, and we can face this darkness too. We must stand together." Elara reached for the hands of those around her, forming a circle of unity. "We are stronger together. Our shared experiences bind us. Let our light push back against the darkness." As they held hands, a warm glow enveloped them. The energy surged, feeding off their collective hope and determination. They faced the darkness together, their combined strength light the shadows. "Look at what we've built," Elara shouted, her voice ringing with conviction. "We can create a future filled with compassion, understanding, and love. We refuse to let fear dictate our path." The darkness recoiled, swirling and shifting as if it were alive. The figures around Elara focused their energy, channeling their pain into a beacon of light. The shadows began to dissipate, their anger transformed into resolve. The dark figure screeched, "You cannot escape your nature." Ilara replied with fierce determination, "But we can choose how we respond to it. Our past does not define us." As the light intensified, the dark figure shrank back, its form unraveling like smoke caught in a breeze. With one final roar, it vanished, leaving only a radiant glow in its wake. The landscape transformed completely, blooming into a vibrant meadow filled with flowers and laughter. Children played in the distance, and the air was filled with the sound of hope and possibility. The Zykar reappeared, their forms shimmering with approval. "You have faced the darkness within yourselves and emerged stronger. You have proven that unity can overcome fear and division." Ilara felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. "This is just the beginning, isn't it? We have so much work ahead of us." "Yes," the Zykar affirmed. "But now, you possess the understanding and resolve to navigate the challenges. Our knowledge will aid you in your journey, but it is you who must continue to foster this unity." As the Zykar began to share their wisdom, visions of advanced technology and sustainable practices light the meadow. Ilara watched in awe, absorbing every detail. This was knowledge that could transform humanity's future. Weeks passed as Ilara and Jamal, along with the world's leaders, worked tirelessly to implement the Zykar's teachings. New initiatives sprouted across the globe, focusing on cooperation, environmental sustainability, and the dismantling of divisive structures. Yet, even as progress flourished, Ilara remained vigilant. The shadows of conflict had been temporarily banished, but she knew that vigilance was essential. Human nature had a way of falling back into old patterns, if not actively challenged. The stars glittered like diamonds scattered across a velvet canvas, a sight that had captivated humanity since the dawn of time. Yet, in the year 2044, one particular constellation became the focus of both hope and dread. The planet Zyxara, orbiting the distant star Osiris, had just signaled its presence to Earth. Dr. Ilara Quinn, a renowned astrophysicist, stood in the control room of the International Space Observation Station. Her tousled hair framed a face lined with both excitement and worry. "It's official," she announced, her voice a mix of disbelief and anticipation. "We've received a response from Zyxara. They want to meet." The room buzzed with energy. Humanity had waited for this moment, dreaming of interstellar communication, and now it was happening. However, the excitement was tinged with uncertainty. "Do we even know what they look like?" murmured Dr. Jamal Terk, her colleague, eyeing the holographic projections of the Zyxara system. "They could be hostile." Ilara turned to him, her green eyes fierce. "We can't let fear dictate our actions. This is a chance to learn, to grow. If they've reached out, they must have a reason." As the day approached, a deep unease crept into Ilara's heart. What if the aliens deemed humanity inferior? Their technology might far exceed anything Earth had achieved. On the morning of the meeting, she stood before the observation window of Eden, staring at the blue planet below. "Ready?" Jamal's voice pulled her from her thoughts. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, forcing a smile. Together, they entered the sleek chamber designated for the meeting. As they stepped inside, a figure shimmered into existence before them. The aliens, known as the Zykar, were ethereal beings with translucent skin that shifted colors like the surface of water under moonlight. Their eyes were deep voids, reflecting a cosmic intelligence. "Welcome, Earthlings," one of them spoke, its voice echoing like a whisper carried by the wind. "We have come to observe your primitive tools of destruction." Ilara's heart raced. "Primitive? We have made great strides in technology and communication." "Your understanding of the universe is limited," interrupted the Zykar, its tone dripping with condescension. "Your arms are crude, outdated. You rely on brute force rather than intellect." Stung by the alien's arrogance, Ilara clenched her fists. "We've learned to coexist, to innovate. Our weapons may not be as advanced, but they've shaped our survival." The Zykar exchanged glances, their eyes swirling with iridescent colors. "Survival is not enough. Your species clings to outdated ideas of power. We do not wish to conquer. We seek enlightenment. Elara felt a surge of determination. Enlightenment can come in many forms, but we must also protect ourselves. You don't know our history, how many times we've faced extinction. She paused, letting her words linger in the charged air. Survival isn't just about existing. It's about thriving, about learning from our mistakes. The Zykar's shimmering form rippled, as if considering her words. You speak of survival as if it were an achievement. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, you are but a thread, tangled and frayed. To truly thrive, one must transcend such limitations. Jamal stepped forward, sensing the growing tension. What do you mean by transcend? Are you suggesting we abandon our humanity? His brow furrowed, reflecting the conflict brewing within him. One of the Zykar extended a slender limb, its color shifting to a deep violet. Humanity is a paradox, a remarkable capacity for creation entangled with an equally potent potential for destruction. We wish to offer you a choice. Join us in a new paradigm, or remain entrenched in your self-destructive cycle. Elara's mind raced. What does this new paradigm entail? Your world is plagued by division, greed, and conflict, the Zykar continued, the air around them pulsating with energy. We have developed a method to enhance consciousness, to elevate your species to a state of understanding beyond the confines of your current existence. This will allow you to harness your potential fully. Elevate us? Jamal echoed, skepticism threading through his voice. At what cost? The Zykar paused, the colors of their forms shifting to a calming blue. There is always a cost. You must be willing to relinquish the fears and prejudices that bind you. Embrace unity, and you shall be rewarded with knowledge and power beyond your dreams. Elara's heart pounded in her chest. And if we refuse? The Zykar's demeanor shifted. The air grew heavy with an unsettling energy. Then we will leave you to your fate. But know this, your struggles will continue, and you may face consequences beyond your understanding. The universe has a way of correcting imbalance. The weight of their words hung in the chamber, a palpable tension that stifled any further questions. Elara felt the urgency of the moment pressing down on her. We need time to discuss this, she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil within her. Very well, the Zykar replied, their forms beginning to shimmer with fading light. We will return in one rotation of your planet. Use this time wisely. As the Zykar vanished, the chamber fell silent. Elara felt the gravity of their offer. What do you think, Jamal? She asked, trying to read his expression. I don't know, Elara. This could be the opportunity of a lifetime, or it could lead to our destruction. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. Trusting them could mean giving up our autonomy. But if we turn them down, we might miss out on something incredible. What if they truly can help us? Her mind raced with possibilities, grappling with the weight of the decision ahead. Over the next few days, Elara and Jamal worked tirelessly, gathering information from experts in ethics, sociology, and psychology. They analyzed historical precedents of contact with other cultures, contemplating the lessons learned and the mistakes made. Every civilization we've encountered has left its mark, often through conflict, Jamal said one evening as they sifted through archives. But this is different. The Zykar seem to be offering something unique. What if we could change the trajectory of humanity? Or what if we lose ourselves in the process? Elara countered, staring at the holographic projections of the Zykar's forms. We must ensure that whatever choice we make, it's one that reflects our values as humans. As the meeting date approached, they decided to hold a public forum, allowing voices from all walks of life to express their thoughts. Scientists, philosophers, and citizens gathered, filling the chamber to discuss the Zykar's proposal. Fear of the unknown is natural, Elara began, her voice steady. But we have a choice. We can either take a step forward into the future or remain shackled to our past. A voice from the crowd called out, but at what cost? Are we willing to sacrifice what it means to be human? Elara nodded thoughtfully. That's the crux of it. We must evaluate the Zykar's offer critically, but we also have to consider the potential for growth and understanding. Humanity has struggled for so long. Perhaps this is our chance to evolve. After hours of debate, the crowd was divided. Some felt hopeful, others terrified. As the forum concluded, Ilara felt the weight of the decision pressing upon her. That night, she and Jamal sat in their quarters, the distant stars twinkling through the observation window. "We need to prepare for whatever comes next," Ilara said quietly. "We have to make sure that we're ready to guide our people through this." Jamal leaned back in his chair, contemplative. "Do you think they're sincere, or is this some elaborate trap?" "Only time will tell," she replied, her gaze distant. "But I believe there's potential for something great. If we can approach this with integrity and purpose, we may find a way to integrate their knowledge without losing ourselves." The next day, the Zykar returned. Their presence filled the chamber, their colors shifting like living rainbows. "You have considered our proposal," one of them stated, the whisper of its voice resonating with expectation. "Yes," Ilara said, stepping forward. "We have discussed your offer and the implications of such a partnership. We are willing to learn more, but we need assurance that our identity and autonomy will be respected." The Zykar's forms pulsed gently, and Ilara sensed a profound understanding. Respect is foundational to any alliance. We do not wish to erase your identity, but to enhance it. Our technology can provide you with insights that will expand your horizons. You will retain your essence. Ilara and Jamal exchanged glances, the tension in the air lifting slightly. "Then we will move forward with a cautious approach," Ilara stated, her voice firm. "But this will require the consent of the global community." "Agreed," the Zykar responded, their forms shimmering with what seemed like approval. "We shall assist you in presenting this to your people. It is time for humanity to step into a broader universe." With the agreement in place, Ilara felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had a chance to shape the future, a future that balanced knowledge with humanity, advancement with autonomy. As she looked out at the stars, Ilara felt that maybe this was the beginning of something profound, not just for Earth, but for all sentient life. The Zykar's offer lingered in her mind, a mix of wonder and trepidation. The moment felt monumental, a turning point in the course of human history. In the following weeks, Ilara and Jamal worked closely with the Zykar to craft a plan for disseminating the knowledge of their potential partnership. The Zykar provided insights into their advanced technology and philosophical frameworks, all aimed at fostering a deeper understanding of consciousness and existence. Each session with them left Ilara both awed and uneasy. One day, as they were reviewing the data transmitted by the Zykar, Jamal looked up from his terminal, his brow furrowed. "Ilara, look at this," he said, pointing to a holographic projection that displayed intricate patterns and symbols. "This is their conceptual model for consciousness enhancement. It's beautiful, but it's also incredibly complex." Ilara leaned closer, studying the swirling patterns. "It seems to suggest that consciousness is not a fixed entity, but rather a fluid construct, one that can be molded and expanded. They believe we can elevate our thinking to a higher state." Jamal sighed, leaning back in his chair. "But what does that really mean for us? Will we become something entirely different? Will we lose the essence of what it means to be human?" Ilara shook her head. "That's the question we need to address. We cannot rush into this without understanding the full implications. The Zykar may have noble intentions, but we must tread carefully." As the days turned into weeks, the global debate intensified. The media exploded with coverage of the impending partnership, with passionate voices on both sides. Proponents argued that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to leap forward in technology, culture, and understanding. Critics warned of the dangers of losing autonomy, of being transformed into something unrecognizable. To ensure that humanity's voice was heard, Ilara proposed a worldwide summit. This would be a chance for people from all backgrounds to come together, discuss their concerns, and voice their hopes for the future. The Zykar agreed, and preparations began. On the day of the summit, the atmosphere was electric. delegates from across the globe gathered in Eden, each representative bringing their own perspective. The chamber was filled with a blend of anxiety and excitement. Alara stood at the podium, looking out over the sea of faces, each reflecting a myriad of emotions. "Thank you all for being here today," she began, her voice steady. "We stand on the brink of a monumental decision. The Zycar have extended their hands to us, offering a path toward enlightenment and growth. But with such an offer comes great responsibility. We must ensure that we understand what this means for our identity, our culture, and our future." Jamal stood beside her, nodding in agreement. "This is not just about accepting technology, it's about how we choose to integrate it into our lives. We must consider the ethical implications of what it means to elevate our consciousness and what we might lose in the process." One by one, delegates rose to speak. Some passionately supported the Zycar's offer, claiming that humanity was stagnating and needed this push into the future. Others expressed deep concern, fearing that the Zycar would manipulate them or that the enhancements could lead to unintended consequences. "Who decides what it means to be elevated?" asked a woman from an indigenous community. "Our cultures have their own wisdom. Will this new consciousness erase our traditions? Will we lose our stories, our languages?" Her words resonated deeply, and Alara felt the weight of the question hanging in the air. "That is precisely why we are here," she replied. "We must ensure that any transformation respects our diverse heritages and beliefs. Elevation should not mean homogenization." As discussions continued, Alara felt the growing tension in the room. She knew they were grappling with fundamental questions about identity and the nature of progress. It was crucial for the Zycar to understand these concerns as well. When it was time for the Zycar to address the assembly, the atmosphere shifted. The room darkened, and the Zycar's forms light the space, shimmering with vibrant colors. "We hear your concerns, Earthlings," one of them spoke, its voice reverberating through the chamber. "Your identities are sacred. We do not seek to erase your individuality, but to enhance your potential." Another Zycar added, "Your cultures are the threads that weave the fabric of your existence. We wish to expand your understanding, not to replace it. The enhancements we offer can foster greater empathy, creativity, and unity among your species." Ilada saw the glimmers of hope in the audience. "But how do we ensure this process is voluntary?" she asked. "What safeguards will be in place to prevent misuse of your technology?" "Safeguards will be a fundamental part of our partnership," the Zycar assured. "We will work together to develop ethical frameworks, allowing each individual to choose their path. No one will be compelled to change against their will." As the summit progressed, the discussions became more nuanced. Delegates began to explore the potential for a collaborative framework where the Zycar would guide the process, but humanity would retain agency. They envisioned a model that embraced both the alien technology and the unique cultural identities of various communities. After hours of intense debate, a consensus began to emerge. They proposed a pilot program in which volunteers could explore the Zycar's consciousness enhancement under strict ethical guidelines. This program would be monitored closely, ensuring transparency and respect for individual autonomy. Alara felt a surge of optimism as the delegates voted overwhelmingly in favor of the pilot program. The potential for a new dawn seemed palpable, yet she knew challenges lay ahead. Trust would be vital, and they would need to ensure that every voice was heard in this transformative process. In the days that followed, preparations for the pilot program began. Volunteers from diverse backgrounds signed up, eager to participate in what they hoped would be a groundbreaking experience. Alara watched as the world seemed to hold its breath, anticipation mingling with trepidation. As the first group of volunteers gathered in Eden, Alara felt a mix of pride and anxiety. Each person had chosen to embark on this journey, aware of the risks and potential rewards. The Zycar stood ready, their ethereal forms glowing with an almost palpable energy. "Welcome, brave souls," one of the Zycar spoke, its voice a soothing murmur. "You have chosen to take a step into the unknown, to expand your consciousness. Together, we will explore the boundaries of understanding." Alara stepped forward, addressing the group. Remember, this is your journey. You have the right to withdraw at any time. Your experience is valid, and your well-being is our utmost priority. The volunteers nodded, their expressions reflecting a blend of excitement and nervousness. As the process began, the Zycar shared their technology, a shimmering orb of light that pulsed with energy. One by one, the volunteers stepped forward to engage with the orb, their forms light by its glow. Alara watched with bated breath as the first volunteer connected with the Zycar's technology. Instantly, the air shimmered with energy, and a soft hum resonated through the chamber. The volunteer's eyes closed, and a look of serenity washed over their face. As each person experienced the connection, Alara observed the shifts in their expressions. Some seemed to be overwhelmed with emotions, while others found peace and clarity. The process lasted several minutes, and as each participant returned, they shared their experiences with the group. "I felt like I was floating in a sea of understanding," one woman said, her voice trembling with awe. "It was as if I could see the world through a new lens." "I encountered my fears," another volunteer shared. "But they were no longer terrifying. I understood their origins and learned to let them go." The energy in the room shifted as the volunteers exchanged stories, each reflecting on their unique journeys. Alara felt a sense of hope blossoming within her. Perhaps this was the transformation humanity needed, a chance to confront their inner demons and emerge stronger. However, as the days turned into weeks, not all experiences were positive. Some participants struggled with the intensity of the connections, grappling with feelings of disorientation or loss. A few withdrew from the program, voicing concerns about the depth of the changes they experienced. Alara and Jamal worked closely with a Zycar to address these issues. They implemented support systems for the volunteers, creating safe spaces for discussions and emotional processing. The Zycar listened attentively, adjusting their approach based on the feedback they received. During one session, a volunteer expressed their fear. "I feel like I'm losing touch with who I am. It's as if I'm becoming something else entirely." Alara nodded, empathy filling her voice. "That's a valid concern. We need to ensure that the enhancements empower you, not diminish your sense of self. Let's explore this feeling together." The conversation opened a dialogue that deepened the understanding between the volunteers and the Zycar. Together, they discussed the importance of grounding techniques, ways to reconnect with their identities amid the transformations. As the pilot program progressed, Alara began to notice shifts within the group. Participants who had previously struggled found new ways to articulate their experiences. They learned to embrace the changes while retaining their core values. It was as if the enhancements were amplifying their inherent qualities rather than erasing them. As the pilot program neared its conclusion, Alara organized a final gathering. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as participants shared their journeys. The stories revealed a tapestry of growth, pain, and resilience that captivated everyone present. "I came in feeling lost," one participant began, her voice trembling slightly. "But through this experience, I found clarity. I realized how much I had buried my emotions out of fear. The Zycar helped me face those feelings and understand my past." The audience listened intently, nodding in solidarity. Alara felt a wave of pride wash over her. This was what she had hoped for, a space for healing and understanding. Another participant, a young man named Malik, spoke next. "At first, I was terrified of what might happen. I feared losing myself. But I learned that the enhancement didn't strip away who I was. It amplified my creativity. I wrote poetry in ways I never thought possible." The room erupted in applause, the energy palpable. Alara watched as the participants began to bond over their shared experiences. It was clear that the program had forged connections that transcended individual identities, creating a sense of unity among them. "I used to see the world in black and white," an older woman named Clara added. "Now, I see colors I never knew existed. It's as if the enhancement opened my eyes to the beauty around me and within me." Alara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through the room. Yet, she was acutely aware of the journey ahead. As inspiring as these stories were, they were only part of the larger narrative. How would the broader public react when they learned of the outcomes? When it was time for the Zycar to speak, their presence filled the chamber once again. "We commend you for your bravery in exploring the depths of your consciousness," one of them said, their voice resonating with warmth. "Your stories reflect the potential that lies within each being. Together, we can foster a new understanding of existence." As the Zycar addressed the group, Ilara felt a sense of caution mingled with hope. "But we must proceed carefully," she interjected. "These experiences are deeply personal. As we move forward, we need to establish guidelines to ensure that every participant feels safe and respected." The Zycar nodded in understanding. "We agree. Transparency and consent will be fundamental in our continued partnership. Your feedback is invaluable, and we will adapt our methods to ensure the best outcomes for all involved." As the gathering concluded, Ilara sensed a shift in the room. The participants were no longer just individuals navigating a foreign experience. They had become a community bound by shared vulnerability and discovery. They exchanged contact information, promising to support one another as they ventured back into their lives. In the following days, Ilara worked tirelessly with Jamal and the Zycar to prepare for the next phase of their collaboration. They needed to address the concerns of the broader public, to educate and inform. This would not just be about technology, it would be about ethics, identity, and the very essence of humanity. Ilara scheduled a global press conference, inviting journalists, ethicists, and community leaders to participate. "We need to present a united front," she told Jamal as they prepared the materials. "We must articulate the successes and the challenges of the pilot program while addressing the ethical implications." On the day of the press conference, Ilara stood at the podium, the lights bright and the cameras focused on her. She took a deep breath, the weight of the moment settling in. "Thank you all for being here today. We stand on the cusp of an extraordinary partnership between humanity and the Zycar. This collaboration has opened new avenues for understanding consciousness, creativity, and compassion." She paused, scanning the room. "However, we are also aware of the concerns surrounding this enhancement technology. It is crucial to acknowledge the complexity of these experiences. We have witnessed profound transformations, but we have also seen struggles that remind us of our humanity." Jamal joined her at the podium, sharing his insights. "The Zycar have committed to a framework that emphasizes choice, transparency, and ethical guidelines. Every participant has the right to determine their path. Our goal is not to erase identities, but to elevate them." The journalists peppered them with questions, some skeptical, others eager to understand. "What safeguards will be in place to prevent potential abuses?" one reporter asked. Ilara replied, "We will establish an independent oversight committee to monitor the implementation of this partnership. Additionally, participants will have access to mental health resources and support systems throughout the process." The discussion continued, with varying perspectives emerging. Some expressed excitement about the potential for technological advancements, while others voiced fears of losing individuality. As the dialogue unfolded, Ilara felt a sense of urgency. They needed to foster understanding and bridge the gap between fear and hope. In the weeks that followed, public interest in the Zycar partnership surged. Communities held discussions, debates, and workshops aimed at exploring the implications of consciousness enhancement. Ilara and Jamal traveled to various locations, engaging with different populations and addressing their concerns. One evening, they found themselves in a small town hall meeting in a rural community. The atmosphere was charged with skepticism as residents raised their voices in passionate debate. "We don't want outsiders telling us how to think or feel," one farmer shouted, his face flushed with anger. Ilara stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "I understand your concerns. This isn't about imposing beliefs. It's about offering an opportunity for growth. You have the right to choose whether or not to engage with this technology." "But what if it changes us? What if we lose our traditions?" another woman interjected, her eyes wide with fear. "Change is a part of life," Jamal replied. But it doesn't have to come at the expense of your identity. This process is about enhancing your understanding, not replacing it. We want to work with you to create a model that respects your values. The discussion continued, the tension in the room palpable. Yet, as they shared their stories, more residents began to speak up. Some recounted their own struggles with mental health, how they had longed for connection and understanding. Gradually, the dialogue shifted from fear to exploration. "I've always felt different," a young man finally admitted. "Maybe this could help me understand myself better. I just want to be seen." Ilara felt a surge of hope as the room shifted from skepticism to curiosity. The conversation sparked deeper questions about identity, community, and the nature of existence itself. By the end of the evening, Ilara sensed that they had begun to build bridges, fostering understanding where there had been doubt. As the weeks turned into months, the pilot program evolved. More volunteers joined, and the Zycar adjusted their methods based on the feedback received. A sense of community blossomed among participants, many forming lasting friendships as they navigated their journeys together. Ilara and Jamal remained vigilant, ensuring that the ethical frameworks were upheld and that every participant felt supported. They established regular check-ins, encouraging open communication about experiences and emotions. Slowly, the program became a beacon of hope for those seeking connection and understanding. However, not everything was smooth sailing. As the partnership progressed, reports of dissent began to surface. Some individuals, resistant to the changes, organized protests against the Zycar, claiming that humanity was surrendering its autonomy. Ilara and Jamal recognized the growing unrest and knew they had to address it. They scheduled a public forum, inviting critics to voice their concerns directly. Ilara took to the stage, feeling a mix of determination and apprehension. "Thank you for coming," she began, looking out at the crowd filled with concerned faces. "We understand that this partnership raises important questions. We are here to listen and to engage in a dialogue about the future we are building together." One of the protest leaders stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension. "You say this is about choice, but what about those who don't want to change? We fear losing our humanity, our essence. This feels like a step toward conformity." Aloha nodded, acknowledging the validity of the concern. "That fear is real, and it is justified. But I ask you to consider this. What if enhancement allows us to connect more deeply with our true selves? What if we can explore new ways of understanding without losing what makes us unique?" The room erupted in murmurs, some contemplating her words. Another protester chimed in, "How do we know the Zycar won't manipulate us? How do we ensure our voices are heard?" "The Zycar have committed to transparency," Jamal replied, stepping in. "They are willing to engage with communities, to adapt their methods based on your feedback. This is not a one-sided relationship." As the forum continued, a mix of skepticism and curiosity filled the air. People shared personal stories, recounting their struggles with mental health and connection. Ilara realized that the conversations had shifted. Instead of outright opposition, there was a willingness to explore the complexities of the partnership. By the end of the evening, a consensus began to emerge. While concerns about autonomy remained, many attendees expressed a desire to learn more and engage in dialogue with the Zycar. Ilara felt a renewed sense of hope as the crowd began to discuss potential collaborations, suggesting that they could work together to ensure that the partnership was beneficial for everyone. In the following weeks, Ilara and Jamal continued to foster these dialogues, recognizing that the partnership with the Zycar was not just about technology, but about humanity itself. They organized workshops that brought together skeptics and supporters, encouraging open conversations about fears, hopes, and possibilities. As the program expanded, the first cohort of participants began to share their experiences more widely. Many became advocates, speaking at community gatherings and forums to articulate the positive impacts of their journeys. Ilara felt invigorated by their enthusiasm. It was as if they were igniting a spark of curiosity in others. At one of the workshops in a bustling city center, a former participant named Clara stood up to speak. "I came into this program skeptical," she admitted, her voice resonating with emotion. But through the Zycar, I've not only found clarity in my own life, but I've also connected with people I never would have met otherwise. This experience has expanded my heart." Her words stirred a ripple of applause, and Alara felt a sense of community forming around these shared narratives. The atmosphere shifted from mere curiosity to a collective desire for understanding. More and more people were willing to engage with the possibilities the Zycar offered, even if they were initially hesitant. Jamal took the stage after Clara, his energy infectious. "What we're witnessing here is the power of connection," he said, gesturing to the crowd. "This is not just about technology, it's about the relationships we build and the empathy we foster. The Zycar have provided us with tools to explore deeper aspects of ourselves and one another." As workshops and discussions continued, Elora and Jamal observed how the partnership began to impact various sectors of society. Schools incorporated discussions about consciousness and technology into their curricula, fostering open-mindedness in younger generations. Artists collaborated with the Zycar to create immersive experiences that blended human creativity with alien technology, allowing for new forms of expression. In one notable project, a group of local musicians worked with the Zycar to produce an album that synthesized traditional sounds with the ethereal harmonies generated by the Zycar's technology. The result was a breathtaking fusion that resonated with people from different cultures, creating a shared experience that transcended language and background. Elora felt a profound sense of pride as she watched these collaborations flourish. Yet she was acutely aware that not everyone was on board. The protests had not completely subsided, they simply transformed into more organized efforts. A group of dissenters, calling themselves Guardians of Humanity, rallied against what they saw as an existential threat to human identity. One evening, Elora received an invitation to speak at a rally organized by the Guardians. As she read the message, she felt a pang of apprehension. While she understood the need for open dialogue, the rally could easily devolve into confrontation. But she also recognized an opportunity to bridge the divide and engage directly with those who felt alienated. When the day of the rally arrived, Elora stood at the edge of a large park where protesters had gathered, their signs boldly declaring slogans like "Preserve Our Humanity" and "No to Zycar Influence." She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenge ahead. As she stepped onto the makeshift stage, a hush fell over the crowd. She could see a mixture of anger, fear, and curiosity reflected in their faces. "Thank you for allowing me to speak," she began, her voice steady. "I'm here to listen as much as I am to share. We're all grappling with profound questions about our future, and I believe that dialogue is essential." A tall man with a fierce gaze interrupted her, raising his hand. "You speak of dialogue, but what about the loss of control? The Zycar are altering our reality. We don't want to be part of some grand experiment." Elora met his gaze, feeling the weight of his words. "I understand your concerns. The fear of losing control is legitimate, especially when faced with the unknown. But I urge you to consider this. What if we can use these technologies to empower ourselves rather than diminish our humanity?" The crowd murmured, some nodding in contemplation, while others remained steadfast in their opposition. "You speak of empowerment, but at what cost?" a woman shouted from the back. "What happens to our traditions, our values? Are we willing to trade those for the allure of enhancement?" Elora raised her hand for calm, her heart racing. "That's a crucial question. Our traditions and values are the bedrock of our identity. The Zycar have committed to working alongside us, not to replace us. This is a partnership built on choice and respect for our differences." Another voice emerged from the crowd, softer but powerful. "But can we trust them? Can we trust that they won't manipulate us or take advantage of our vulnerabilities?" "I understand the skepticism," Elora replied, her tone earnest. "Trust must be earned, and that is why we need to continue this dialogue. We must hold both the Zycar and ourselves accountable. Transparency is key, and we must ensure that every voice is heard." As Elora continued to speak, she felt the atmosphere shift slightly. While some remained staunchly opposed, others seemed intrigued by her words. She noticed a few nodding, their expressions softening as they absorbed her message. Perhaps, she thought, there was a glimmer of hope in bridging the divide. After the rally, Alara was approached by a small group of individuals who expressed a desire to continue the conversation. They agreed to meet in a more intimate setting, away from the tensions of the protest. Over the next few weeks, Alara facilitated discussions, bringing together both supporters and skeptics to explore their concerns and aspirations. Through these dialogues, she learned that many skeptics were not opposed to enhancement itself, but rather to the lack of agency they felt in the process. They wanted to be part of the conversation, to define what enhancement meant for them. In one particularly poignant session, a woman named Marisol shared her fears. "I've struggled with anxiety my whole life," she said, her voice trembling. "The idea of being enhanced is terrifying because I worry it'll take away my ability to feel deeply. I don't want to lose my sensitivity." Alara nodded, feeling the weight of Marisol's vulnerability. "Your sensitivity is a gift. The goal of enhancement isn't to erase feelings, but to help you navigate them more effectively. We can explore ways that enhance your capacity to cope with anxiety while honoring your emotional depth." As the weeks progressed, the conversations became more constructive. Participants began to propose ideas for community-driven guidelines that would prioritize individual choice and well-being. Alara and Jamal worked with the Zycar to incorporate these suggestions, striving to create a partnership that truly respected humanity's diverse perspectives. The culmination of their efforts came in the form of a community summit, where both proponents and skeptics would gather to establish a framework for the partnership. The anticipation in the air was palpable as people from all walks of life came together to shape their collective future. At the summit, Alara took to the stage, flanked by representatives from the Zycar and community members. "Today is a monumental step for us all," she declared, her heart racing with excitement. "We stand united in our desire to explore new possibilities while safeguarding our humanity. Together, we will establish guidelines that respect individual choice, cultural heritage, and ethical practices." Jamal spoke next, emphasizing the importance of collaboration. "This isn't just about technology, it's about our values as a society. We must ensure that as we embrace the future, we do so with empathy, compassion, and understanding." As discussions unfolded, attendees voiced their ideas and concerns, creating an atmosphere of engagement and cooperation. The proposals ranged from ensuring mental health resources for participants to forming a council of representatives who would oversee the partnership's implementation. Alara felt a sense of hope blooming within her. This was no longer a battle between opposing forces. It was a collaborative effort to define a path forward that honored everyone's voices. As the summit progressed, participants drafted a charter that outlined their shared vision for the partnership. At the end of the day, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Alara stepped back to reflect on the progress they had made. People mingled, exchanging ideas and forging connections. It was a testament to the power of dialogue and the willingness to listen. In the weeks that followed, the charter was finalized and publicly shared, marking the beginning of a new era in humanity's relationship with the Zycar. As Alara and Jamal watched the world react to this development, they were filled with a sense of accomplishment. Their journey had not been easy, but they had forged a path that honored both the complexities of human experience and the possibilities that lay ahead. Yet, as they celebrated this achievement, they were reminded that the journey was far from over. The partnership was still in its infancy, and challenges lay ahead. Trust would need to be nurtured, and ongoing conversations would be essential to ensuring that the partnership remained beneficial for all. Alara felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation as she considered the future. They had opened the door to a new way of being, but it was a doorway that could lead to both incredible advancements and unforeseen consequences. As they continued to explore the depths of consciousness and the essence of identity, she understood that vigilance and empathy would be their guiding lights. One evening, while reflecting on the progress made, Alara received an unexpected message from the Zycar. They requested a meeting to discuss the next phase of their partnership. Curiosity piqued. She arranged for the meeting to take place at Eden. When Alara arrived, she found the Zykar waiting, their forms glowing with an ethereal light. "Thank you for coming," one of them said, their voice resonating in the air. "We have observed the evolution of your community's response to our collaboration. Your willingness to engage in dialogue has inspired us." The Zykar exchanged glances, their expressions revealing a depth of understanding that transcended language. "We have also reflected on our role in this collaboration. While our technology has shown potential, we recognize that it is essential to respect the autonomy and diversity of human experiences. Our purpose is to enhance, not to dominate." Alara felt a surge of hope. "That's reassuring to hear. As we move forward, we want to ensure that the program remains centered on the individual. Our recent summit has provided a framework, but we need your insight on how to implement it effectively." The Zykar nodded. "We are prepared to assist you in co-developing methodologies that align with your community's values. Our goal is to foster a co-creative environment where both parties benefit from mutual learning." In the following weeks, Alara, Jamal, and the Zykar collaborated closely, drafting a comprehensive plan that incorporated the Charter's principles. They focused on establishing community councils that would include diverse voices, ensuring that no one felt marginalized in the process. The idea was to create a feedback loop where participants could share their experiences and influence future enhancements. As the program's second phase approached, excitement buzzed through the community. Alara organized workshops where participants could brainstorm how they wanted to engage with the Zykar, exploring areas like art, mental health, education, and social justice. The energy in these sessions was electric, with participants eager to express their ideas and aspirations. One afternoon, as Alara facilitated a workshop on creative expression, a young woman named Aisha stood up, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. "What if we use the Zykar's technology to enhance storytelling? I believe stories can heal, connect, and inspire. Imagine sharing our narratives in a way that transcends boundaries." The room erupted in applause, and Alara felt a wave of inspiration wash over her. "That's a brilliant idea. We could create an immersive storytelling experience, allowing participants to explore different perspectives through the eyes of others." As the discussion progressed, more ideas flowed. Some participants suggested creating a digital archive of stories that documented their journeys, while others envisioned collaborative art installations that blended human creativity with Zykar technology. Alara marveled at how the program had transformed. What began as a pilot initiative had blossomed into a vibrant community of co-creators. The Zykar's presence was no longer seen as an intrusion, but rather as a catalyst for exploration. However, amid this excitement, Alara remained conscious of the lingering concerns among skeptics. The guardians of humanity had not disappeared. They continued to voice their fears and skepticism, organizing public forums to challenge the narratives surrounding the Zykar partnership. One evening, Alara attended a forum organized by the Guardians, determined to engage in meaningful dialogue. The atmosphere was tense as community members expressed their fears. "We are worried about the long-term implications of this partnership," one leader asserted. "What happens if the Zykar gain too much influence over our thoughts and emotions?" Alara stood up, prepared to respond. "I hear your concerns, and they are valid. It's crucial that we approach this partnership with caution and integrity. That's why we have established community councils to ensure that every voice is represented and that we uphold our commitment to transparency." A woman in the audience raised her hand. "But how can we be sure that the Zykar will respect our autonomy? We need concrete guarantees." "Great question," Alara replied. "The guidelines we've developed include regular reviews of the program, community input, and independent oversight. We want to ensure that we are not just participants but active stewards of this partnership." The discussion continued, with both supporters and skeptics sharing their views. While tensions persisted, Alara noticed that more people were beginning to express a willingness to engage. Some skeptics were even intrigued by the stories of transformation shared by participants who had undergone the enhancement process. As the second phase of the program launched, Ilara and Jamal were filled with a sense of optimism. The community had embraced the opportunity to explore their potential with the Zykar's assistance, and the energy surrounding the new initiatives was palpable. At the inaugural event, participants gathered in a spacious hall adorned with art that celebrated both human creativity and Zykar influences. Ella took the stage, excitement coursing through her veins. Today marks a new chapter in our partnership. We stand here as a community united in our desire to explore the depths of our existence while honoring our individuality. The audience cheered, the energy infectious. As the program unfolded, participants engaged in various activities, from storytelling sessions that allowed them to share their narratives to collaborative art projects that blended traditional techniques with Zykar technology. HFY's storytelling project took center stage, with participants sharing their experiences through immersive performances. The audience was transported into the world of each storyteller, experiencing their emotions and struggles in a visceral way. Ilara watched in awe as connections formed between individuals who had previously felt isolated in their experiences. As the weeks passed, the program flourished. Participants continued to explore the integration of Zykar technology into their creative practices, producing remarkable works of art, literature, and music that resonated with audiences far and wide. The partnership had transformed into a celebration of humanity, a testament to the power of collaboration and shared understanding. Yet, amidst this success, Ilara remained vigilant. She continued to engage with the guardians and skeptics, ensuring that their concerns were heard and addressed. One evening, she hosted a dialogue session specifically for them, inviting open discussions about the implications of the program. "Many of us are still afraid of losing our humanity," one participant stated, his voice heavy with apprehension. "What if the Zykar's influence changes us in ways we cannot foresee?" Ilara nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "That fear is entirely valid, and it's a reminder of why we must remain engaged. Our humanity is our strength, and we must prioritize our values as we explore new possibilities. It's essential that we approach this partnership with a spirit of co-creation, where everyone's voice matters." As conversations continued, Ilara sensed a gradual shift. While concerns remained, many participants began to share their hopes for the future. They expressed a desire to explore the unknown while holding on to their roots, seeking a balance between innovation and tradition. One evening, as Ilara reflected on the progress made, she received an unexpected message from the Zykar. They invited her to join them in a private meeting, expressing their desire to discuss the future direction of their partnership. When she arrived, the Zykar greeted her warmly. "Thank you for your dedication to this partnership," one of them said, their glowing form pulsating with energy. "We have been observing the evolution of your community's response. Your commitment to dialogue has inspired us to consider new pathways for our collaboration." Ilara felt a surge of curiosity. "What do you have in mind?" "We believe that expanding our focus to include not only enhancement but also healing could benefit your community greatly. We can offer technologies that facilitate emotional healing, mental well-being, and a deeper connection to one another," the Zykar explained. Ilara's heart raced at the possibilities. That could have a profound impact. Many people are struggling with mental health issues, and this could offer them new avenues for healing. The Zykar nodded. "We propose initiating a program that combines our technologies with traditional healing practices. By collaborating with mental health professionals and community healers, we can create a holistic approach to well-being." As they discussed the details, Ilara envisioned the potential ripple effects of such a program. It could foster a deeper understanding of mental health, promote emotional resilience, and build a stronger sense of community. When the proposal was presented at the next community gathering, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Participants eagerly embraced the idea, and soon they began brainstorming ways to integrate traditional healing practices with the Zykar's technologies. HFY proposed a series of workshops that combined storytelling, art, and emotional healing. We can create a space where people share their stories and use art to process their emotions, she suggested. The Zycar can help amplify those experiences, allowing participants to explore their feelings on a deeper level. As the workshops unfolded, participants engaged in powerful exercises that encouraged vulnerability and connection. The combination of storytelling and Zycar technology created an atmosphere of healing and transformation. Ilara felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude as she watched individuals open up, sharing their struggles and triumphs in a supportive environment. However, as the program gained momentum, Ilara remained mindful of the skeptics. The Guardians continued to voice their concerns, reminding her that it was crucial to maintain transparency and accountability throughout the process. During one of the workshops, Ilara invited a member of the Guardians to share their perspective. "We appreciate the opportunities being created," the spokesperson began. "But we must ensure that the integration of these technologies respects our emotional autonomy. We need to set clear boundaries." Allah nodded, acknowledging the validity of their concerns. "Absolutely. We are committed to ensuring that every participant has a say in how these technologies are utilized. We can establish guidelines that prioritize consent and emotional well-being." As the workshops continued, participants began to share their transformative experiences. Stories of healing and resilience echoed through the space, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. The integration of traditional practices with Zycar technology proved to be a powerful combination, offering individuals new pathways to explore their emotional landscapes. One evening, after a particularly moving workshop, Aisha approached Ilara with a bright smile. "I've been thinking about how we can expand this even further. What if we host a community festival to celebrate our journey? We can invite everyone's supporters, skeptics, and everyone in between to come together and share their stories." Community festival could serve as a powerful symbol of unity, a celebration of our shared experiences, and a chance to engage in open dialogue. In the weeks that followed, planning for the festival began in earnest. Ilara, Aisha, and a team of volunteers worked tirelessly to organize a vibrant event that showcased the creativity and resilience of their community. They envisioned an array of activities, including art installations, storytelling circles, workshops, and live performances that highlighted both human and Zycar contributions. As the festival date approached, excitement bubbled within the community. Posters were hung throughout the city, inviting everyone to join the celebration. Ilara felt a sense of purpose as she watched people from various backgrounds come together, their diverse voices contributing to a collective narrative of hope and collaboration. On the day of the festival, the atmosphere was electric. The park transformed into a vibrant space adorned with colorful banners and art displays. Stalls lined the pathways, each representing different aspects of the community: traditional crafts, mental health resources, and even Zycar-inspired technology demonstrations. Ilara stood at the entrance, welcoming attendees as they arrived. Families, friends, and even curious skeptics gathered, their faces lighting up with curiosity. As people began to explore, laughter and conversations filled the air, creating a sense of belonging that resonated deeply with Ilara. The festival kicked off with a powerful opening ceremony. Ilara took the stage alongside Aisha and Jamal, their hearts racing with anticipation. "Today, we celebrate our journey together," Ilara began, her voice ringing out across the gathering. "We stand here as a testament to the power of dialogue, creativity, and connection. Let us honor our past, embrace our present, and envision a future where we thrive together." Applause erupted from the crowd, and Ilara felt a swell of gratitude. This was more than a festival. It was a manifestation of their collective commitment to growth and understanding. As the day unfolded, attendees participated in various activities. The storytelling circles became a focal point, drawing people in to share their experiences and listen to others. Each story, filled with vulnerability and resilience, echoed the theme of connection that underpinned the festival. In one circle, an elderly man named Mr. Lai shared his journey of immigration and the challenges he faced in adapting to a new culture. "When I arrived, I felt lost and alone," he began. but through sharing my story, I found community. This festival reminds me that we all carry our histories, and in sharing them, we weave a tapestry of understanding. Alara watched as the audience listened intently, their expressions shifting from curiosity to empathy. The impact of Mr. Lai's story was palpable, fostering a deeper sense of connection among participants. In another part of the festival, a group of young artists collaborated with the Zycar to create an interactive mural. Attendees were encouraged to contribute their thoughts and feelings by adding their own artistic touches. As the mural began to take shape, it became a visual representation of their shared experiences and dreams for the future. Amid the festivities, Alara took a moment to reflect. She was grateful for the progress made and the bridges built between diverse perspectives. Yet, she remained aware of the work still to be done. The ongoing dialogue with the Guardians and skeptics was essential to ensure that their partnership with the Zycar remained grounded in humanity's values. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Alara gathered with the team to discuss the festival's success. "We've created something beautiful today," she said, her eyes shining with excitement. "This is just the beginning. We can continue to nurture these connections and engage in meaningful conversations." The evening culminated in a closing ceremony, where participants gathered once more. Alara took the stage, her heart swelling with pride. "Thank you for being here today and for sharing your stories, your art, and your hearts with one another. Let us carry this spirit of collaboration and understanding into the future." Applause echoed throughout the park, resonating with a shared commitment to continue fostering connections. As the festival drew to a close, people began to leave with a sense of fulfillment, their spirits lifted by the experience. In the days that followed, the positive energy of the festival lingered in the community. Conversations flourished, and more individuals expressed a desire to engage with the Zycar and explore their technologies. The initial skepticism had begun to transform into curiosity and, in some cases, even excitement. Yet, Alara knew that challenges remained. The Guardians of Humanity had not disappeared. They remained vigilant, watching how the partnership evolved. Alara made it a priority to engage with them, recognizing that their concerns were essential to maintaining balance. One evening, Alara invited several members of the Guardians to a community discussion. She wanted to create a space where they could voice their concerns and engage in a constructive dialogue. "Thank you all for coming tonight," she began, looking around the room. "I appreciate your willingness to engage in this conversation. Your perspectives are vital as we navigate this partnership." One of the Guardians, a woman named Helena, spoke up. "We're glad to be here, Alara. While we appreciate the festival's success, we still have serious concerns about the Zycar's influence. We need to ensure that our community remains at the center of this partnership." Alara nodded, understanding the gravity of Helena's words. "Absolutely. Our goal has always been to prioritize community input and values. I want to discuss how we can strengthen our commitment to transparency and accountability moving forward." The dialogue continued, with both sides sharing their views. Alara listened attentively as the Guardians expressed their fears of losing agency in the face of rapid technological advancements. They discussed the importance of setting clear boundaries and establishing a framework that ensured ethical practices. By the end of the evening, a sense of mutual understanding had begun to take root. While concerns remained, the Guardians acknowledged the positive impacts of the partnership and expressed a willingness to engage in ongoing discussions. In the following weeks, Alara and the Guardians collaborated on drafting a set of ethical guidelines that would govern the partnership with the Zycar. They organized community forums where people could voice their opinions and contribute to the guidelines, ensuring that the process remained transparent and inclusive. As the guidelines took shape, the partnership with the Zycar deepened. Alara and her team worked closely with Zycar representatives to ensure that the technologies implemented were aligned with the community's values. They established regular review meetings, allowing for ongoing feedback and adjustments based on participants' experiences. One evening, as Alara reviewed the latest draft of the guidelines, she received an unexpected message from Aisha. "Alara, can we meet? I have an idea I think you'll love. Curious, Elara agreed to meet with Aisha at Eden. When she arrived, Aisha was already there, brimming with excitement. I've been thinking about how we can extend our storytelling project beyond our community, she said, her eyes sparkling. What if we created an online platform where people from around the world could share their stories and connect with others? Elara's heart raced at the thought. That's a brilliant idea. We could create a global storytelling initiative, inviting diverse voices to share their experiences and learn from one another. As they discussed the possibilities, Aisha outlined a vision for the platform that included features for sharing personal narratives, art, and multimedia experiences. The idea was to create a space where individuals could find solace, inspiration, and connection in their shared humanity. In the weeks that followed, Elara and Aisha began to develop the online platform, reaching out to community members and artists for contributions. They worked alongside the Zycar to integrate their technology, ensuring that the platform could facilitate immersive storytelling experiences. As the platform launched, it quickly gained traction, attracting participants from around the globe. People shared their stories of love, loss, resilience, and hope, creating a rich tapestry of human experiences. The platform became a vibrant hub for connection, fostering understanding and empathy across cultures. Elara felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched the project flourish. It was a testament to the power of storytelling and the ability of technology to bring people together. Yet, she remained aware of the ongoing dialogue with the Guardians, recognizing the importance of maintaining balance as the initiative grew. One evening, during a community meeting, Elara invited members of the Guardians to share their thoughts on the platform. We want to hear your perspectives and ensure that the initiative reflects our community's values, she said, welcoming feedback. Helena spoke up, her voice measured. While I appreciate the intention behind the platform, I still have concerns about how it might influence our understanding of storytelling. We must ensure that traditional narratives are honored and that the platform doesn't dilute our cultural identities. Elara nodded, appreciating the depth of Helena's insight. That's a valid concern. We can establish guidelines for contributions, prioritizing cultural sensitivity and respect for diverse narratives. We want this platform to celebrate our unique stories while fostering connections. As discussions continued, the Guardians proposed forming a committee to oversee the platform's development, ensuring that it remained inclusive and respectful of cultural diversity. Elara welcomed the idea, recognizing that collaboration was key to building trust. With the committee in place, the platform continued to thrive. Participants shared their stories, and the online community grew, weaving together a global tapestry of experiences. Elara felt a profound sense of gratitude as she watched connections blossom, bridging gaps between individuals from different backgrounds. As the partnership with the Zycar deepened, Elara and her team began to explore new avenues for collaboration. The Zycar proposed integrating their technology into educational settings, offering tools that could enhance learning experiences and promote critical thinking. Elara was intrigued by the idea. How could we implement this in a way that aligns with our community's values? The Zycar explained their vision. We could create immersive learning environments that allow students to explore complex subjects in an engaging manner. Elara saw the potential. That sounds promising. We could partner with local schools and educators to ensure that the curriculum remains rooted in our community's context while utilizing Zycar tools to enhance engagement. They began outreach to educators, inviting them to collaborate on designing an innovative program that would combine traditional learning methods with immersive technology. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Teachers expressed excitement about new ways to engage students, especially those who struggled with conventional learning methods. As the planning progressed, Elara and her team organized a workshop for educators to explore the possibilities of the partnership. The session aimed to foster collaboration and brainstorm ideas for integrating Zycar technology into classrooms. On the day of the workshop, teachers filled the room, eager to share their thoughts. Elara welcomed everyone, setting the stage for open dialogue. Today, we're here to explore how we can enhance education in our community through innovative approaches. We want your insights as we shape this program. One teacher, Mr. Thompson, raised his hand. I've seen firsthand how disengaged some students can be. I think incorporating immersive experiences could spark their curiosity. But we must also consider how we assess learning. We can't lose sight of traditional methods. Elara nodded, appreciating his perspective. That's a crucial point. We want to create a hybrid model that values both experiential learning and traditional assessment methods. Your input will be essential in striking that balance. The workshop continued, with educators brainstorming ideas ranging from interactive history lessons using virtual reality to science experiments enhanced by Zycar technology. The energy in the room was palpable, with everyone eager to contribute their expertise. As the program took shape, pilot projects were launched in a few local schools. Students engaged in immersive history lessons, exploring ancient civilizations through virtual reality experiences that transported them to different times and places. The feedback from both students and teachers was overwhelmingly positive, with many noting how the technology sparked engagement and curiosity. Elara visited several classrooms, observing students' reactions as they immersed themselves in learning. She witnessed their excitement as they interacted with virtual environments, asking questions and collaborating with their peers in ways that felt dynamic and relevant. However, as the program grew, so did concerns from the guardians. They called for a community meeting to discuss the implications of integrating technology into education. Elara understood the importance of addressing their worries, recognizing that transparency was crucial to maintaining trust. At the meeting, Helena expressed her apprehensions. While I see the potential for enhanced engagement, I worry about the reliance on technology in education. We must ensure that our students are not only technologically savvy, but also critical thinkers who can navigate the complexities of the world. Elara acknowledged Helena's concerns. I completely agree. The goal is not to replace traditional methods, but to enhance them. We're implementing checks and balances to ensure that our students are equipped with the skills they need to thrive in an increasingly complex society. The dialogue continued, with participants voicing various opinions about the balance between technology and traditional education. Elara listened intently, appreciating the diversity of perspectives within the community. As the discussions unfolded, a consensus began to emerge. The community recognized the importance of a balanced approach, one that embraced the benefits of technology, while ensuring that students developed critical thinking skills and emotional intelligence. In the weeks that followed, Elara and her team worked closely with educators to refine the program. They established guidelines for technology use in classrooms, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a human-centered approach to learning. Feedback mechanisms were put in place, allowing students and teachers to voice their experiences and suggestions for improvement. As the pilot programs continued, the impact became increasingly evident. Students who had once struggled with engagement began to thrive, exploring subjects with newfound enthusiasm. The collaborative nature of the projects fostered connections among students, enhancing their social skills and sense of community. In addition to the educational initiatives, Elara and Aisha continued to develop the online storytelling platform. They encouraged schools to participate by sharing student-created narratives, creating a sense of pride and ownership over their stories. The platform became a vibrant hub for creativity, where students showcased their work and connected with peers around the world. The festival's spirit of collaboration and storytelling permeated the educational initiatives, creating a cohesive narrative that underscored the importance of community and connection. As the months went by, Elara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They were not just adapting to change, they were actively shaping their future. Yet, as with any journey, challenges remained. The guardians continued to monitor the developments, and some community members expressed concerns about the long-term implications of the partnership with the Zycar. Elara recognized the importance of addressing these worries head-on. One evening, she organized a forum specifically for community members to voice their concerns and ask questions about the partnership. This is an opportunity for us to come together, share our thoughts, and ensure that we're aligned in our vision for the future, she said, inviting dialogue. As participants shared their worries, one woman expressed a feeling of disconnection. I fear that as we embrace this technology, we might lose sight of our traditions and the values that bind us. How can we ensure that our cultural identities are preserved? Ilara responded thoughtfully. That's a crucial concern. Our partnership with the Zycar is meant to enhance our experiences, not replace them. We can create spaces where traditions are honored and celebrated alongside innovation. We're committed to finding that balance. The forum continued, with community members expressing a range of opinions. While some remained skeptical, others acknowledged the positive impacts of the programs and the importance of ongoing dialogue. Ilara listened attentively, understanding that the journey ahead required patience and collaboration. As the educational initiatives expanded, the integration of technology into classrooms sparked interest from neighboring communities. Ilara and her team began to explore the possibility of hosting workshops and sharing their experiences with others who were curious about the Zycar partnership. They organized a regional conference focused on innovative education and storytelling, inviting educators, community leaders, and experts to share insights. The response was overwhelming, with participants eager to learn from their experiences and explore potential collaborations. At the conference, Ilara delivered a keynote address, sharing their journey of co-creation with the Zycar and the impact it had on their community. We stand at a crossroads, she began, her voice steady. Together, we have the power to redefine what it means to learn, connect, and thrive in an ever-changing world. Our partnership is a testament to the strength of collaboration, creativity, and the human spirit. The audience listened intently as Ilara shared stories of transformation and resilience, emphasizing the importance of balancing tradition with innovation. The conference served as a platform for dialogue and exchange, fostering connections among participants who were eager to embrace new possibilities. As the day unfolded, workshops explored various topics, including the integration of technology in education, the importance of storytelling in building community, and ethical considerations in partnerships with advanced technologies. Ilara felt a sense of excitement as she witnessed the exchange of ideas and experiences among diverse groups. By the end of the conference, Ilara was filled with hope for the future. The community had embraced change, evolving together while maintaining a strong commitment to their values. As they moved forward, Ilara remained dedicated to fostering dialogue and understanding among all stakeholders. In the following months, the educational initiatives continued to expand, with more schools participating in the pilot programs. Feedback from students and teachers indicated a growing sense of engagement and enthusiasm, reaffirming the power of collaboration in education. Ilara also made it a priority to continue engaging with the guardians, inviting them to participate in the evaluation of the programs. Their involvement not only helped build trust, but also ensured that the initiatives remained aligned with community values. As the seasons changed, so did the community's understanding of their partnership with the Zycar. The initial fears had transformed into curiosity and a willingness to explore new possibilities. The storytelling platform flourished, with narratives from students and community members enriching the collective tapestry of experiences. One day, as Ilara reviewed submissions for the platform, she stumbled upon a powerful story written by a young boy named Samir. His narrative explored his family's journey as immigrants, capturing the struggles and triumphs they faced. Ilara was moved by his honesty and vulnerability, recognizing the profound impact of storytelling in fostering empathy and connection. Inspired by Samir's story, Ilara reached out to him and invited him to participate in a community event showcasing youth voices. Your story is powerful, and I believe it can resonate with others. Would you be willing to share it at our next gathering? Samir's eyes lit up with excitement. I'd love to. I never thought my story would matter to anyone. Ilara smiled, feeling the weight of that statement. Your voice matters, Samir. Every story adds to our understanding of one another and helps build a more compassionate community. As the gathering approached, Elara worked with Samir to help him prepare for his presentation. They practiced together, with Elara offering guidance and encouragement. On the day of the event, Samir stood before the audience, nerves visible in his demeanor. With Elara's support, he took a deep breath and began to share his story. The room fell silent as he spoke, his words weaving a narrative that resonated deeply with everyone present. As he recounted his family's journey, the audience was captivated by his authenticity and courage. When he finished, a moment of stillness hung in the air before the audience erupted into applause. Elara felt a swell of pride as she watched Samir beam with joy, realizing the impact his story had made. After the event, community members approached Samir, thanking him for sharing his experiences. Elara saw connections forming among attendees, each person reflecting on their own stories and experiences. As the platform flourished, Elara and Aisha began to envision new ways to amplify its impact. They discussed hosting a series of themed storytelling events that would spotlight specific issues such as immigration, resilience, and community building. The idea was to create spaces for deeper dialogue while showcasing the diverse experiences of individuals within their community. Excited by the possibilities, they organized a brainstorming session with community members, inviting anyone interested to share their thoughts. The room buzzed with energy as participants proposed ideas ranging from storytelling workshops to community art projects that could accompany the events. One participant suggested a storytelling night where people could share their stories in a relaxed setting. "Imagine a cozy space where we can gather, share, and connect," she said, her eyes lighting up. "We could even include live music or art performances to enhance the atmosphere." Elara and Aisha loved the idea. They decided to host a series of storytelling nights in local cafes, creating intimate spaces for connection. Each event would focus on a specific theme, encouraging participants to share stories that aligned with the chosen topic. As the first storytelling night approached, Elara felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. They had organized an open mic format, inviting anyone willing to share their story. The theme for the evening was resilience, a topic that resonated deeply with many. On the night of the event, the cafe was filled with a warm ambience. Soft lighting and comfortable seating created an inviting atmosphere as attendees gathered, some familiar faces and others new. Elara welcomed everyone, sharing her vision for the night. "We're here to celebrate our stories of resilience, to connect with one another, and to find strength in our shared experiences." As the night unfolded, stories poured forth. One woman spoke about overcoming adversity after losing her job, finding strength in her community's support. A young man shared his journey of healing after experiencing loss, emphasizing the importance of vulnerability and connection. Each story resonated deeply, weaving a tapestry of shared struggles and triumphs. As the evening progressed, Elara felt a palpable sense of unity in the room. Participants connected through laughter, tears, and heartfelt moments, realizing that their stories were interwoven in a larger narrative of resilience. The storytelling nights became a beloved tradition, with each event drawing larger crowds and creating a sense of belonging. In the following months, the events expanded beyond the cafe, moving into parks and community centers. Each gathering allowed people to share their experiences, foster connections, and cultivate empathy. Elara felt a sense of pride as the storytelling nights flourished, witnessing the power of narratives to bring people together. As the seasons changed, so did the conversations surrounding the Zycar partnership. Some community members had begun to embrace the technological innovations, seeing them as tools for empowerment rather than threats. Others, however, remained skeptical, voicing concerns about the pace of change and the potential loss of cultural identity. Elara recognized the need for continued dialogue and transparency. She organized a community forum to address these concerns, inviting Zycar representatives to join the conversation. "Our goal is to foster an open and honest dialogue about the partnership," she explained. "We want to ensure that everyone's voices are heard as we navigate this journey together." During the forum, members of the Guardians voiced their apprehensions about the Zycar's influence on education and community life. Helena spoke passionately about the importance of maintaining a balance between technological advancement and cultural preservation. We must remember that technology should serve us, not define us, she emphasized. The Zycar representatives acknowledged these concerns, expressing their commitment to working collaboratively with the community. "We are here to support and enhance your experiences, not to overshadow them," one representative said. "Your cultural identities and values are paramount, and we want to ensure that our partnership reflects that." As the forum progressed, participants began to find common ground. Through open dialogue, skepticism gave way to curiosity, and community members started to explore how they could engage with the Zycar in meaningful ways. Ilara felt a sense of hope as she watched the conversation evolve, recognizing the importance of ongoing engagement in building trust. With the groundwork laid for collaboration, Ilara and her team explored innovative projects that could integrate technology while respecting cultural traditions. They proposed creating a series of workshops focused on blending storytelling and technology, where community members could learn to use digital tools to share their narratives in new and creative ways. Excited by the possibilities, they organized a workshop that brought together local artists, educators, and technologists. The aim was to brainstorm ways to blend traditional storytelling techniques with digital formats. Participants engaged in lively discussions, exploring concepts like digital storytelling, video narratives, and interactive art installations. One artist suggested incorporating augmented reality into storytelling, where viewers could experience narratives through immersive digital layers. Another educator proposed using podcasts to amplify voices that might otherwise go unheard. The room buzzed with energy as ideas flowed freely, and Ilara felt invigorated by the collaborative spirit. As the workshop concluded, participants were inspired to create projects that showcase their stories through innovative formats. Ilara and Aisha compiled the ideas into a proposal for a community-wide storytelling festival that would celebrate creativity, technology, and shared experiences. They envisioned the festival as a platform for community members to showcase their projects, participate in workshops, and engage with the Zycar in a positive, collaborative manner. The festival would highlight the beauty of storytelling while exploring the intersection of tradition and innovation. As they began planning, excitement swept through the community. Word spread quickly about the upcoming festival, and individuals from various backgrounds expressed their eagerness to participate. Ilara coordinated with local artists, educators, and community leaders, ensuring that the festival reflected the diverse voices of the community. On the day of the festival, the park transformed into a vibrant celebration of creativity. Colorful booths lined the pathways, showcasing art installations, digital storytelling exhibits, and interactive workshops. The air buzzed with laughter and excitement as attendees explored the various offerings, engaging with one another and sharing stories. Ilara took a moment to soak in the atmosphere, feeling a sense of fulfillment. The festival was a celebration of their journey, a testament to the strength of collaboration and the power of stories to unite. She watched as community members shared their narratives through various mediums, each contributing to the rich tapestry of experiences. The festival included a stage for live performances, where local musicians, poets, and storytellers captivated the audience. One performer, a young woman named Maya, shared her journey through spoken word, expressing the complexities of identity and belonging. The audience listened intently, feeling the weight of her words resonate within their own experiences. As the festival progressed, Ilara felt a sense of hope and possibility. This event marked a turning point for the community, showcasing their resilience and commitment to growth. It was a reminder that their stories mattered, that every voice added to the collective narrative. Amidst the celebration, Ilara made time to connect with the Zycar representatives who had joined the festival. They shared insights into their technologies and how they could further support the community's initiatives. "We want to ensure that our tools are accessible and beneficial for everyone," one representative emphasized. "Let's explore how we can collaborate to enhance your storytelling efforts." The dialogue between the Zycar and community members deepened during the festival. People were eager to learn about how technology could support their creative endeavors without overshadowing their cultural identities. Alara facilitated conversations that highlighted the importance of co-creation, emphasizing the need for the community's input in shaping technological applications. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Alara gathered everyone for the closing ceremony. "Thank you for being part of this incredible celebration," she said, her heart swelling with pride. "Today, we've woven our stories together, creating connections that will last beyond this festival. Let us continue to embrace our narratives and the power they hold." Applause erupted as attendees cheered, their voices ringing out in a chorus of appreciation. Alara felt a profound sense of gratitude for the community's resilience and spirit, recognizing that they were moving forward together. In the following weeks, the momentum from the festival carried into ongoing projects and initiatives. Community members continued to share their stories, and the online platform became a vibrant hub of creativity and connection. The festival had ignited a spark of inspiration, and Alara remained committed to nurturing that energy. As the partnership with the Zycar evolved, Alara made it a priority to maintain open lines of communication. She organized regular meetings with both the Guardians and the Zycar representatives, ensuring that everyone's voices were heard as they navigated the complexities of collaboration. During one meeting, Helena spoke passionately about the need for cultural representation in the Zycar's technological applications. "It's essential that our traditions and values are reflected in these tools. We need to be active participants in shaping how technology interacts with our narratives." The Zycar representatives nodded in agreement, emphasizing their commitment to inclusivity. "We want to learn from you, to understand your values and traditions so we can create tools that empower your community," one representative said. "Let's work together to ensure that our partnership reflects the richness of your culture." Alara facilitated a brainstorming session where community members could share their insights and ideas for technology integration. This collaborative approach allowed for the development of projects that honored cultural identities while embracing innovation. As the months passed, Alara witnessed the community's growth and transformation. The integration of storytelling and technology continued to flourish, creating a dynamic environment for learning and connection. The festivals and storytelling nights became a beloved part of community life, fostering ongoing dialogue and creativity. One evening, as Alara reflected on the journey, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the connections forged and the stories shared. She recognized that their partnership with the Zycar was not just about technology. It was about empowering individuals to embrace their narratives and engage with the world around them. Alara proposed the establishment of a mentorship program where experienced storytellers and artists could guide younger generations in honing their craft. The idea was to create a supportive environment where emerging voices could flourish, ensuring that the art of storytelling continued to be passed down. She organized a meeting with local artists and educators, inviting them to contribute their ideas. "This program could empower our youth and help them find their voices," she explained. "By pairing them with mentors, we can foster creativity and build a legacy of storytelling in our community." The response was enthusiastic. Artists expressed eagerness to participate, sharing their own experiences of mentorship and the profound impact it had on their journeys. They brainstormed ways to structure the program, emphasizing the importance of cultural relevance and personal connection. As the mentorship program began to take shape, Alara also explored opportunities for collaboration with local universities. She envisioned workshops and classes that would blend academic insights with practical storytelling skills. By partnering with higher education institutions, they could create pathways for students to engage with their cultural narratives while gaining academic credit. Alara reached out to nearby universities, presenting the idea of integrating storytelling into their curricula. Faculty members were intrigued, recognizing the value of experiential learning in enhancing students' understanding of culture and identity. They agreed to develop joint courses focused on storytelling techniques, digital media, and community engagement. In the meantime, the online storytelling platform continued to thrive, showcasing an array of voices and narratives. Ella and Aisha introduced themed submissions that encourage community members to explore specific topics, such as home or change. Each theme invited participants to reflect on their experiences, fostering a deeper sense of connection and understanding. One day, while reviewing submissions, Elara came across a powerful piece by a young woman named Layla. Her story captured the feeling of displacement and belonging, eloquently expressing the tension between her cultural heritage and her experiences in a new environment. Elara felt moved by Layla's vulnerability and decided to reach out to her. "Your story is beautiful, Layla," Elara wrote in her message. "I'd love to connect and explore how we can feature your work in our next storytelling night. Your voice matters, and I believe it can resonate with many others." Layla responded with excitement, grateful for the opportunity to share her story. They arranged a meeting to discuss how she could present her narrative in a way that would engage the audience. Elara was struck by Layla's passion for storytelling, and they worked together to craft a presentation that highlighted the essence of her journey. On the night of the event, Layla stood before the audience, her heart racing. As she began to share her story, the room fell silent. Her words painted vivid images of her experiences, capturing the beauty and complexity of her identity. The audience listened intently, drawn into her narrative. When she finished, the applause was thunderous. Layla beamed with pride, her confidence bolstered by the supportive community around her. Elara felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing that their efforts were creating spaces for young voices to be heard. Inspired by Layla's success, Elara and Aisha decided to feature more young storytellers in upcoming events. They organized workshops specifically for youth, inviting them to explore their narratives through different mediums: writing, performance, and digital storytelling. The goal was to provide a platform where young people could express themselves and connect with one another. As the mentorship program launched, Elara saw the positive impact it had on participants. Mentors guided mentees through the storytelling process, encouraging them to explore their cultural backgrounds and personal experiences. The relationships formed during this time were transformative, fostering a sense of belonging and shared purpose. Elara also made it a priority to include the guardians in these initiatives, recognizing their role in safeguarding cultural values. She invited them to participate in mentorship sessions, allowing them to share their wisdom and insights with younger generations. This collaboration strengthened the bond between the guardians and the community, creating a shared vision for the future. As the year progressed, the storytelling nights and workshops flourished, attracting participants from various backgrounds. The community embraced the idea that everyone had a story worth telling, and the atmosphere was one of celebration and connection. Each event became a testament to the resilience of the community and the power of narratives to inspire and heal. Elara also began to explore opportunities for the community to showcase their storytelling efforts beyond their local context. She reached out to regional festivals, inviting them to feature their storytelling nights as part of larger cultural celebrations. This exposure not only celebrated their narratives, but also connected them with other communities that shared similar experiences. One festival, in particular, piqued her interest. The Regional Arts Festival was known for highlighting diverse cultural expressions and attracting audiences from across the region. Elara proposed a collaborative storytelling event, showcasing the community's narratives alongside performances from other cultures. When the festival organizers expressed interest, Elara felt a rush of excitement. This was an opportunity to amplify their voices and engage in meaningful exchanges with others. She gathered a group of storytellers and artists from the community, encouraging them to share their work and perspectives at the festival. As the festival approached, the community prepared enthusiastically. Participants shared their narratives, rehearsed performances, and engaged in collaborative workshops. The sense of anticipation was palpable as they envisioned the connections they would make with attendees from diverse backgrounds. On the day of the festival, Elara stood amidst the bustling atmosphere, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. Their community booth was vibrant, showcasing artwork, digital storytelling displays, and opportunities for attendees to share their own stories. The festival provided a platform for dialogue and connection, and Alara was eager to engage with others. Throughout the day, attendees flocked to their booth, captivated by the narratives on display. Many stopped to share their own stories, creating a dynamic exchange of experiences. Alara witnessed the power of storytelling to bridge gaps and foster understanding among diverse communities. As the evening approached, it was time for their community's storytelling performance. Alara took the stage, introducing the group and sharing the significance of their narratives. "We are here to celebrate the richness of our stories and to create connections that transcend boundaries. Each story reflects our unique experiences, and together, they weave a tapestry of resilience and hope." The storytellers took turns sharing their narratives, each voice resonating deeply with the audience. The stories ranged from tales of migration and cultural identity to personal triumphs and challenges. The atmosphere was charged with emotion as attendees listened intently, moved by the authenticity of the narratives. After the performance, the audience erupted into applause, and Alara felt a profound sense of pride. This event was not just about sharing stories, it was about building bridges and fostering connections that would last beyond the festival. The feedback from attendees was overwhelmingly positive, with many expressing gratitude for the opportunity to hear such powerful narratives. In the weeks that followed, Alara reflected on the impact of the festival. The connections forged during that time continued to blossom, with individuals reaching out to collaborate on projects, share ideas, and support one another. The community was transforming, embracing the notion that their stories held the power to inspire change. Recognizing the importance of sustaining this momentum, Alara and Aisha began planning for the future. They envisioned a series of initiatives that would further engage the community and strengthen the bonds formed during the festival. Ideas ranged from collaborative art projects to intergenerational storytelling workshops that honored the wisdom of elders while empowering youth. Alara also prioritized outreach to local businesses, seeking partnerships that would support their initiatives. She envisioned a community that thrived on collaboration, where local enterprises recognized the value of storytelling and cultural engagement. As she approached business owners, Alara articulated the benefits of supporting community storytelling initiatives. "By investing in our programs, you're not only enriching our community, but also creating connections with customers who value cultural engagement," she explained. Many local businesses expressed interest, recognizing the potential for collaboration. They offered to sponsor storytelling nights, provide venues for workshops, and support the mentorship program. This partnership model began to take shape, creating a network of support for the community's initiatives. Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose as the collaborative spirit blossomed. The community was no longer just a collection of individuals. They were united in their commitment to storytelling and cultural preservation. Each initiative became an opportunity to amplify voices, foster understanding, and celebrate the richness of their narratives. As the year drew to a close, Alara organized a community gathering to reflect on their achievements and set intentions for the coming year. The atmosphere was filled with excitement as attendees shared their experiences and aspirations. During the gathering, Alara expressed her gratitude for the community's resilience and commitment. "Together, we have created spaces for storytelling, empowered young voices, and forged connections that will last a lifetime. Let us continue to nurture this spirit of collaboration and celebrate the beauty of our stories." As the new year began, Alara was filled with optimism and hope. The foundation they had built together was strong, and she felt confident that the community would continue to thrive. They were a testament to the power of stories to unite, inspire, and transform lives. Alara's vision for the future included expanding their storytelling initiatives beyond their local context, exploring partnerships with other communities that shared similar values. She began to research opportunities for exchanges, where storytellers could share their narratives and learn from one another. One potential partnership emerged with a community located in a neighboring region. They had a rich cultural heritage and a vibrant storytelling tradition. Alara reached out to their community leaders, proposing an exchange program where storytellers could visit each other's communities and share their narratives. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and both communities began planning for a storytelling exchange festival. Ilara envisioned a celebration of culture, creativity, and connection that would deepen their understanding of one another and foster lasting friendships. In the months leading up to the festival, Ilara worked closely with the neighboring community's organizers. They planned a series of workshops, performances, and interactive sessions that would allow participants to share their traditions and learn from one another. Each community would host sessions that highlighted their cultural stories, storytelling techniques, and artistic expressions. Ilara also proposed a joint storytelling project where members from both communities could collaborate on a shared narrative. This initiative aimed to blend their experiences into a cohesive story that reflected their journeys, struggles, and triumphs. This project will not only celebrate our individual stories, but also demonstrate how interconnected we all are, Ilara explained during a planning meeting. As the festival date approached, anticipation grew. Participants from both communities were enthusiastic about sharing their stories and learning from one another. Ilara organized a kickoff meeting to set intentions for the festival. "Let's make this an unforgettable experience," she said. "Our goal is to celebrate our diversity, share our wisdom, and build bridges that will last beyond this event." The day of the Storytelling Exchange Festival arrived, and the energy in the air was palpable. Colorful banners adorned the venue, and booths showcased art, crafts, and storytelling materials from both communities. Ilara moved through the crowd, feeling a mix of joy and pride as she witnessed people connecting over their shared love of storytelling. The festival began with an opening ceremony, where leaders from both communities spoke about the importance of storytelling in preserving cultural heritage and fostering understanding. Ilara took the stage, welcoming everyone and sharing the vision behind the event. "Today, we come together not only to share our stories, but to learn from one another and celebrate the beauty of our diverse experiences." As the performances began, participants took turns sharing their narratives. The storytelling ranged from personal anecdotes to traditional tales that had been passed down through generations. Each story resonated deeply, highlighting the universal themes of love, loss, resilience, and hope. One of the standout performances came from a storyteller named Amir, who shared a traditional tale from his culture that emphasized the importance of community and support. His storytelling was captivating, filled with vivid imagery and rich emotions. The audience listened in rapt attention, fully immersed in his narrative. After Amir's performance, audience members expressed their appreciation. "Your story reminded me of my own family's traditions," one participant shared. "It's amazing how similar our experiences are, even if our backgrounds are different." Throughout the festival, workshops offered participants hands-on opportunities to explore storytelling techniques, creative writing, and performance skills. Ilara facilitated a workshop focused on digital storytelling, encouraging participants to use technology to amplify their voices. "Incorporating digital tools allows us to reach broader audiences and share our stories in innovative ways," she explained. The collaborative project that Ilara proposed was also in full swing. Participants from both communities worked together to weave their narratives into a shared story that would be performed at the festival's closing ceremony. This project not only fostered creativity, but also deepened connections as participants learned from one another's perspectives. As the festival drew to a close, the final performance featured the collaborative story created by participants from both communities. They took the stage together, embodying the spirit of unity and collaboration. The narrative they had crafted reflected their intertwined journeys, celebrating their diverse backgrounds while emphasizing the common threads that connected them. The audience erupted into applause, moved by the authenticity and creativity displayed on stage. Ilara felt a swell of pride as she watched the performers bask in the joy of sharing their work. This festival had become more than just an event. It was a testament to the power of storytelling to create understanding and connection. In the days following the festival, the impact of their efforts began to unfold. Participants exchanged contact information, promising to stay in touch and continue collaborating. Ilara received messages from individuals expressing gratitude for the experience and excitement about future projects. Encouraged by this momentum, Elora and her team began to discuss ways to sustain the relationships formed during the festival. They envisioned regular storytelling gatherings where members from both communities could continue sharing their narratives and learning from one another. They also explored the idea of creating an online platform that would serve as a hub for storytelling resources, workshops, and collaborative projects. This platform could host narratives, allow for feedback, and facilitate connections between storytellers from different backgrounds. As the planning continued, Elora recognized the importance of documenting their journey. She suggested creating a digital archive that would capture the stories shared during the festival, along with reflections from participants about their experiences. This archive would serve as a resource for future generations, preserving the cultural narratives and insights that emerged from their collaboration. With excitement building, Elora reached out to a local university's digital media department for support in creating the archive. The students and faculty were eager to participate, recognizing the value of preserving the stories of the communities. They worked together to develop a user-friendly platform that would house the narratives and facilitate ongoing engagement. As the new year unfolded, the storytelling initiative gained traction. Regular gatherings became a staple of community life, bringing together individuals from both communities to share stories, collaborate on projects, and celebrate their cultural heritage. The online platform flourished, becoming a vibrant space for storytelling, resources, and community engagement. Elora was thrilled to witness the growth and transformation within the community. They had created a dynamic network of storytellers who were passionate about sharing their narratives and learning from one another. The Storytelling Exchange Festival had laid the foundation for lasting connections, and the ripple effects continued to be felt. The success of their initiatives caught the attention of local media outlets, leading to features that highlighted the power of storytelling in fostering community. Articles and interviews showcased the diverse narratives shared by participants, emphasizing the importance of cultural preservation and the strength found in collaboration. Encouraged by this recognition, Elora and her team decided to host an annual storytelling festival, expanding its scope to include more diverse voices and experiences. They envisioned a larger event that would attract storytellers from across the region, fostering an even greater sense of connection and collaboration. The planning for the annual festival began in earnest, with Elora reaching out to artists, performers, and community leaders to participate. They brainstormed themes that would resonate with a wide audience, emphasizing inclusivity and representation. Workshops would be offered to help participants hone their storytelling skills, and interactive sessions would engage attendees in meaningful dialogue. As the festival date approached, excitement grew throughout the community. Participants were eager to share their stories, and local businesses expressed their support, eager to sponsor and participate in the event. The festival had become a beacon of cultural celebration and community engagement, drawing interest from neighboring regions. On the day of the annual festival, the venue was filled with energy and anticipation. Colorful decorations adorned the space, and booths showcased art, crafts, and storytelling resources. Elora welcomed attendees with a heartfelt message, expressing gratitude for their support and participation. As the festival unfolded, the atmosphere was electric. Performers captivated the audience with their narratives, and workshops offered participants the chance to learn new skills. The sense of community was palpable as individuals connected over their shared love of storytelling. The closing ceremony featured a collaborative performance that highlighted the narratives shared throughout the day. Participants took the stage, weaving their stories into a rich tapestry that reflected the diversity of experiences within the community. The audience erupted into applause, celebrating the power of stories to unite and inspire. In the weeks following the festival, the impact of their efforts continued to unfold. New collaborations formed, and participants began to explore ways to take their stories beyond the festival, sharing them through local schools, libraries, and community organizations. Elora felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she witnessed the ongoing growth of the storytelling movement. Recognizing the importance of sustaining this momentum, Elora and her team began to develop additional programs that would engage younger generations. They created a storytelling club in local schools, where students could explore their narratives and learn from one another. The club provided a safe space for self-expression, allowing students to connect with their peers while honing their storytelling skills. As the storytelling club gained traction, Alora collaborated with educators to integrate storytelling into the curriculum. She proposed workshops for teachers, equipping them with tools to facilitate storytelling in their classrooms. This initiative aimed to foster creativity and critical thinking while empowering students to explore their identities through narrative. The impact was profound. Students who had previously struggled to express themselves began to find their voices, sharing their stories with confidence. Teachers reported increased engagement and creativity in the classroom, as storytelling became a valuable tool for learning. As the program flourished, Alora recognized the importance of involving families in the storytelling journey. She organized family storytelling nights, inviting parents and guardians to participate in the sharing of narratives. These gatherings created a sense of unity, allowing families to connect over their shared experiences and cultural heritage. The storytelling movement had grown beyond Alora's initial vision, transforming into a vibrant community that celebrated diversity, creativity, and collaboration. Alora felt a deep sense of gratitude for the relationships forged and the stories shared, knowing that they had created a lasting impact. Looking ahead, Alora was excited about the possibilities. She envisioned expanding their initiatives to include cross-cultural exchanges with communities around the world, allowing for a rich exchange of stories and traditions. This global perspective would further enrich their understanding of the power of storytelling and the interconnectedness of human experiences. As she reflected on their journey, Alora felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had built a thriving community that embraced the beauty of storytelling, fostering connections that transcended boundaries. Their narratives would continue to inspire, heal, and unite, creating a legacy that would resonate for generations to come. With excitement in her heart, Alora set forth to explore new opportunities, eager to continue the storytelling journey and honor the rich tapestry of experiences within her community and beyond.